Okay, tribe. We are almost ready here. Get everything ready, everything set up. Testing 1, 2, 3. Make sure the mic is working. See the equalizer. Let me get this camera. Again, I got 2 cameras going. So when I go live now on YouTube, I'm actually going live on TikTok also. Kill 2 birds with one stone in a little bit. See if I can find the app here. Then let me see. Post, go live. Oh, there it says where I can add a title. Nice. Sorry about this, guys. Doing a couple things that I'll get going here. Give people time to also, I'm still learning how to use TikTok. Not the app as far as going live. So sometimes everything is set up different. Okay, getting into the right business. Okay, that is good. So let's go live here. Okay, TikTok, I'm live. We're actually live on YouTube over here, and we're live on TikTok. Now, I think I'm set up here. Okay, let's get rocking and rolling. And got my water. A little bit late getting started. We cleaned the air conditioner. So right now the air conditioner is actually kind of cold. I just turned it on, so I might have to turn it off. So I'm sitting right under it. But it's been like a year since we have cleaned it, so it's starting to get hot. So might as well come in for my water on the floor. Might as well get it cleaned. So we cleaned this one and the other one in the bedroom. Then let's kind of get going here. Make sure everything's going over here. Okay. Now I got both mics going. Just let me know if there's an interference with the mics and stuff like that. And because I got this mic. This mic is for YouTube. Then I got my DJI mic for TikTok. That way, when I'm running off my phone, it doesn't give this like shh type of static. But anyway, we are back. So we are back. We're almost done with this book, The Science of Getting Rich. We're on our last 3 chapters. So this is chapter 13, Getting into the Right Business. Then there's only 2 more chapters after that. So then we'll finish up the book, and I'll continue to go live, but then we'll take a break from the book reviews here, and kind of do something different. Maybe either go live and do questions and answers, stuff like that. But sometimes I'm in the mood to do book reviews. So once I start a book review, I just like looking at the comments here. So once I start a book review, I'm kind of in that mode where, okay, we're going to finish this book. So that's how I am. Like, I'm not going to give up on this book, baby. Okay. But anyway, let me see. Let me put on my glasses here so I can read, and let's get rocking and rolling. Okay, now we are out of the book, The Science of Getting Rich. We are on chapter 13. Chapter 13 is getting into the right business. And also, before I forget, if you want to pick up The Science of Getting Rich, this is an old school book. This was written in the early 1900s. You can pick it up on Amazon. It's in a book cluster called the Power Wealth Classics. You get 3 books in one. So you get the Invisible Power, The Science of Getting Rich, and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So these 3 books right here are my all-time favorite books. So grab that on Amazon. So that's called the Power Wealth Classics, and put it in your personal development library. 'Cause I'm not joking. I've read these books. Sometimes people think, well, Chad, this is the first time you're reading The Science of Getting Rich. No, I've probably read this book at least minimum 100 times. Okay, I read this book over and over and over. That's how good it is. Now, granted, I'm reading it to you, so it's a little bit slower, but we still get a lot of stuff out of it. So let's get rocking and rolling. Chapter 13. Maybe I'll put you to sleep with my bedtime story or reading. Try not to go to sleep yet. But even if you do go to sleep, even if you do take a nap, you'd be thinking about good things. Okay, chapter 13, getting into the right business. Success in any particular business depends upon your possessing in a well-developed state the faculties required for that business. Without good without good musical faculty, no one can succeed as a teacher of music. Without exceptional mechanical abilities, no one can achieve great success in any of the mechanical trades. Without tact and a flair for commerce, no one can succeed in the mercantile pursuits. But to possess in a well developed state the faculties required in your particular vocation does not ensure getting rich. Those are There are musicians who have remarkable talent and who yet remain poor. There are blacksmiths, carpenters who have excellent mechanical ability, but who do not get rich. And there are merchants with good skills for dealing with people who nevertheless fail. Now, granted, you have to keep up with me here for a second. The science of getting rich, this is old school. So he's talking very old school types of jobs and stuff like that. So, just, kind of bear with his writing a little bit. The different faculties are tools. It is essential to have good tools, but it's also essential that the tools should be used in the right way. One person can take a sharp saw, a square, and a good plane and build a handsome article of furniture. Another person can take the same tools and set to work to duplicate the article, but that production will be a complete failure. This person does not know how to use good tools in a successful way. Right now, he's kind of leaning more towards your natural abilities. You understand? We all kind of have our natural abilities or a knack to do stuff. We all kind of have like talents and hidden talents. So that's what he's kind of referring to here in the first page is that getting into the right business is also knowing what you want to do, what your natural talents are, and moving in that direction of your natural talents. So that's kind of what he's talking about a little bit. Kind of just sum up that first page. Okay, let's continue. The various faculties of your mind are the tools with which you must do the work that is to make you rich. It will be easier for you to succeed if you get into a business for which you are well equipped with mental tools. So that's what he's talking about. It's easier for you to get rich in the business that you kind of already you're just naturally good at. You understand, you have natural talents, you're doing things you're naturally good at, and you're moving in that direction. So he's basically saying that it's easier to get rich, it's easier to be successful if you kind of merge into what your natural talents are. Generally speaking, you will do best in that business which you use your strongest faculties, the one for which you're naturally best fitted. So that's what he's talking about, your strongest faculties or your strongest talents. Okay. And lots of times, I think most of us, for the most part, kind of naturally gravitate kind of what we're naturally good at, what we want to do. I mean, maybe there's a few of us that kind of, when we go to college, like we go towards being a doctor or an attorney, not really because we really want to be an attorney. It's just we look at it as, oh, that's the way to make the most money. So that being said, there are some trades that sometimes how we're thinking, we might get away from what we naturally want to do. I'm not saying that's a good decision or bad decision. I'm just saying. So that's why he says, generally speaking, you will do best in that business, which you will use your strongest faculties, the one for which you are naturally best fitted. But there are also limitations to this statement. You should not regard your vocation as being irrevocably fixed on the skills with which you were born. You can get rich in any business because if you have not the right talent for it, you can develop that talent. So that's the good news. Even if you don't have a natural talent to do something, now he's switching it up a little bit. Now Wallace Wattles is saying, well, it doesn't matter because if you really want to get into if you really have a business, what you really want to do, a career you really want to do, no matter if you have the talent to do it or not, you can learn that talent. It merely means that you will have to make your tools as you go along instead of confining yourself to the use of those with which you were born. It will be easier for you to succeed in a vocation for which you already have the talents in a well-developed state. But you can succeed in any vocation because you can develop any rudimentary talent. And there is no talent of which you have not at least a small amount. Hmm. That's kind of interesting. The last sentence he said, listen, where was I? He said, and there is no talent of which you have not at least a small amount. So kind of what he's talking about here is he's talking about your talents. He's talking about we all have kind of our own unique talent, something we're just naturally good at. But he's also pointing out something very kind of unique here is is that all talents are within us. So all talents, we have like a little bit of each talent in us. Okay. So he kind of points it out, meaning like if you want to get a career in something you're just not naturally, you kind of like just not naturally good at right from the get-go, but that's what you really want to do. Well, you can learn that talent. Okay. You can get better at it because that's what you want to do. Okay. That's pretty much what he's saying. Now let's see where I'm at. Doing what you want to do is life, and there is no real satisfaction in living if we are compelled to do something which we do not like to do and fail to do what we want to do. I should reread that one more time. That's kind of powerful a little bit wordy because it's old English again, but but I think it's very strong. Listen, doing what you want to do is life. Isn't that true? Doing what you want to do is life. Okay, that's living life in your terms. Okay, you want to do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it, whenever you want to do it. You understand? Doing what you want to do is life, and there is no real satisfaction in living if we are compelled to do something which we do not like to do and fail to do what we want to do. A little bit wordy. And it is certain that you can do what you want to do. Your desire to do it is proof that you have within you the power which you can do it. That's kind of strong too. This is a tiny paragraph, but it's so wordy, but it's so powerful at the same time. Listen, your desire to do your desire to do anything in life, whatever it is, it could be we could be talking about work here. Okay. We could be talking about a career. We could also just be talking about, you want your dream life, your dream house, your dream car. You want all that stuff as well. Okay. You can put this in anything, but listen to this. Your desire to do it is proof that you have within you the power which you can do it. So if you have the imagination, you can do it. The power is within you that you can achieve it. Okay. That's what he's saying. Desire is a manifestation of power. That's a good little quote. Desire is a manifestation of power. The desire to play music is a power seeking expression and development. The desire to invent mechanical devices is also a power seeking expression and development. Where there is no power, either developed or undeveloped, to doing a thing, there is never any desire to do that thing. Where there is a strong desire to to I lost my place. Where there's a strong desire to do the thing, it is proof that the power to do it is strong and only needs to be developed and applied in the right way. All things being equal, it is best to select a business for which you have the best developed talent. But if you have a strong desire to engage in any particular line of work, you should select that work as the ultimate goal. Because because you can do what you want to do. It is your right and privilege to follow the business or application which will which will be most congenial and pleasant to you. Let me get that notification off there. It's weird. Like every time I go live, sometimes when I do videos, that's when notifications pop up all over the place. Doesn't happen so much on my on the desktop computer because I don't have all that stuff interlinked like where I'm getting notifications on the desktop. But on my phone's a different story. Okay, let's continue. You are not obliged to do what you do not like to do and should not do it except as a means to bring you to your desired work. Listen, because we always kind of talk about a little bit, just like in manifesting in success, you as much as you can anyway, is we should limit, listen, guys, we should limit the things we don't like to do as much as we possibly can. Listen, I know that we're all adults. I know there's things that we got to do we don't like. Okay. But we should limit those as much as we can. Okay. Our whole goal is to try to stay in a state of be, do, have. Okay. Our whole goal is to stay in a state. I'm always doing what I like to do. I'm always thinking positive. I'm always thinking about what I want to do, what I like to do, what we're doing this weekend. Okay. I'm always, if I'm setting an intention, buy a house or whatever, I'm always in that anticipation of getting the thing that I want. Okay. My mind is so focused on be, do, have. Okay. That's all we should think about. Okay. Now, of course, I know there's a dogma out there that, well, Chad, and this is how we've been brought up. Well, Chad, I'm an adult, I have a mortgage, I have a job, I'm married, I have kids. And there's things you gotta do that you don't like and enjoy. Okay. The issue is, listen to this, guys. The issue is you got it twisted. Okay. The issue you're having is that you're doing too much of what you don't like, and you're not doing enough of what you do like. Okay. It needs to be flip-flopped. Okay. You need to flip it around. You need to, most of the time, you're doing things you enjoy and you like, and little bit of the time you're doing things that you just have to do. You understand? Okay. This thing is a teeter totter a little bit. Okay, you got to work with it. Okay, so there's some things that, like, for example, like if I hate doing laundry, well, for me, I'm gonna take my laundry to a fluff and fold. Someone's gonna do it for me because I don't like doing it. Like if you don't like going grocery shopping, then if you have a significant other, maybe they love to shop. You understand what I'm saying? So maybe they do the shopping. Maybe you go with them sometime when you're in the mood, but maybe that's not the thing that you really love to do. Okay. But someone else loves to do it. Maybe you pay someone to do it. Okay. Now, when you're paying people to do things for you, I can understand like sometimes you don't have the budget to be able to do that or do everything. Okay. But what I'm saying is, you want to limit exposure. You want to try to stay in a state of you're always doing what you want to do. You always enjoying what you like. You understand? Um, without, and sometimes we're, like I said, sometimes we're doing things that we don't like. Okay, I know that sounds kind of wordy, but I'm trying to hit all kind of facets right here because I can sense what you guys are thinking. Okay. And this is why Wallace Wattles says, you are not obliged to do what you do not like to do. Meaning, like, you don't have to do what you don't like to do. Okay. But he says a big but. He says, and you should not do it. Okay. I'll finish the sentence here. You're not obliged to do what you do not like to do, and you should not do it. If you don't like something, you shouldn't do it. That's this is even what Wallace Wattles' own words. If you don't like to do something, you shouldn't do it. Because the reason why he says that is because if you really, really don't like to do something and you force yourself to do it, for that time being, you're putting yourself into a negative state. And when you put yourself into a negative state, guess what? You push pause on your manifestations. You actually push pause on what you're trying to manifest into your life. Okay. That's why Wallace Wattles says this. But now let's finish the second half of the sentence. He says, you are not obliged to do what you do not like to do, and you should not do it except as a means to bring you to your desired work. Okay, so basically he's saying the only reason you should do things you don't like to do is if it has a means of bringing you what you want or bringing you into a job you want. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Okay, we only got 2 more pages left. If there are past mistakes whose consequences have placed you in an undesirable business or environment, you may be obliged for some time to do what you do not like to do, but you can make the doing of it pleasant by knowing that it is making it possible for you to come to your desired work. Now he's twisting it a little bit. Now he's twisting it. That's okay. Let's put it this way. Right now you have a job, right now you have a career, but you hate it. Okay. Maybe you hate your boss. Maybe you argue with your boss all day long, whatnot. Okay. So, so I had a brain fart. I apologize because sometimes I glance over, I look at the comments, then my mind just shuts off. So let me read that one more time. Okay. If there are past mistakes whose consequences have placed you in an undesirable business or environment, you may be obliged for some time to do what you do not like to do, but you can make the doing of it pleasant by knowing that it is making it possible for you to come to your desired work. Okay, so what he's saying is if you have a job or career that you don't like, okay, basically stop putting yourself in that negative state that you don't like it. You go to work with an excitement and enjoy, knowing that you're going to get into the right business. You understand? Okay, knowing that when you're at home outside of work, you're developing yourself so you can get into the right business that you enjoy. You understand? Okay, so he's flip-flopping it. He's like use the excitement of anticipation that you're going to have what you want in the future. That's what he's saying. Don't get so caught up into the 3D world right now. That's what he's saying. Is lots of times what slows down for us is that we get caught up into the 3D world. We get caught up into the proof. That's what I mean by the 3D world. You see, the proof is our 5 senses want proof. Okay, see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Okay, they all want proof of what you're manifesting. So all day long, you want to manifest your dream car, but then you wake up in the morning, you look out in your garage, and you're like, oh, I don't see my dream car out there today. I guess manifesting don't work. You know what I mean? That's what he's talking about is is stop paying attention to your 3D world. Stop paying attention to your 5 senses. Stop paying attention to see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Okay. Use the anticipation, use the joy and excitement of you anticipating that, hey, I'm going to get my dream car. It's coming. I just don't know when, but it's coming. Okay. Use that anticipation, because when you anticipate something, what happens is you naturally go inside your imagination. You're having fun with it. You're enjoying the process, and you speed up time. Okay. That's what I mean. And that's what kind of Wallace Wattles means in this little paragraph here. Listen, if you feel that you are not in the right vocation, do not act too hastily in trying to get into another one. The best way, genuinely, to change a business or environment is by growth. Okay, now we listen. I read that sentence one more time. The best way, generally, to change a business or an environment is by growth. What does Wallace Wattles means by that? It means that you've outgrown your environment. You've outgrown the job that you have. Okay. The issue we do, now, I fell into this issue too, guys, is if we have a job that we hate, okay, we don't get along with the boss, we hate our coworkers. Sorry, there's something in my eyeball. Okay. The issue is what we do, we get caught up into the I hate my job. And then when we hate our job, when we go to work, we do the bare minimum just to get by. Okay. We do the bare minimum just not to get fired. Okay. That's what we end up doing. Okay. And that's really the opposite of what Wallace Wattles is saying. That's the opposite of success. What Wallace Wattles is saying in the Science of Getting Rich is no matter if you hate your job or not, no matter if you want a new job, no matter if you hate your boss, okay, you still go to work and you outgrow your environment. How do you outgrow your environment? Is you go above and beyond. That's how you outgrow your environment. You go above and beyond, meaning like with manifesting, like it has to move you to a better environment. It has to move you to a better career. It has to move you to a better job because you simply just outgrown it. You understand? Listen, do not be afraid to make a sudden and radical change. Hmm. Do not be afraid to make a sudden and radical change if the opportunity is presented and if you feel, after careful consideration, that it is the right opportunity. But never take sudden or radical action when you are in doubt as to the wisdom of doing so. There is never any hurry on the creative plane, and there is no lack of opportunity. Isn't it so true? If abundance is infinite, if you believe abundance is all mine, abundance is never going to run out, abundance is divine, meaning abundance is in all things. Listen, with anything you want, this is talking about business, talking about work, but with anything you want, anything you seek in your life, listen, there is never any hurry on the creative plane, meaning imagination. You're creating what you want. Okay. And there is no lack of opportunity. There is never any hurry on the creative plane, and there is no lack of opportunity. You know what I mean? You don't have to hurry. You don't have to think like, oh my God, someone's gonna buy my dream house from me. Your dream house is always gonna be there. You understand? Your dream car is always gonna be there. You understand? Because abundance is always yours. Abundance is always infinite. When you get out of the competitive mind, you will understand that you will never need to act hastily. Hmm. Okay, listen, when you get out of the competitive mind, like when you have a competitive mind, what you're really saying to yourself is, I don't believe in abundance. That's what you're really saying. Okay. When you think you got to beat somebody else to buy your dream house, what you're really saying is I don't believe in abundance. I don't believe abundance is infinite. Someone's going to take something from me. Okay. You know, even if someone takes something from you, even if someone steals something from you, even if you hire somebody and they don't do the best job and you got to rehire somebody else for them to fix what the other person did, that's all repaid to you. You understand? If you believe abundance is infinite, but you got to believe abundance is infinite. Okay. This is all like we do this all subconsciously, guys. We do this all without knowing we're doing it. That's what's going on. That's why Wallace Wattles says, when you get out of the competitive mind, you will understand that you never need to act hastily. You never need to hurry. Okay. You never need to hurry because abundance is infinite again. Okay. You never need to beat somebody else to something. Okay. You never need to beat somebody else to a career that you want. You never need to beat somebody else. You trying to get your dream house before somebody else. Somebody might take your dream house away from you. That's never going to happen. Listen, no one else is going to beat you to the thing that you want to do. Hmm. No one else is going to beat you to the thing that you want to do. There is enough for all. If one place is taken, another and a better one will be open for you a little further on. There is plenty of time. When you are in doubt, wait. Listen, when he says, when you are in doubt, wait. When worry, doubt, and fear creep in, don't act on worry, doubt, and fear. He says, wait. Almost like what I call you remain in the fire. You understand, my friends? Then he says, when you're in doubt, wait, fall back on the contemplation of your vision and increase your faith, belief, and purpose. Ooh, okay. He's going back to manifesting 101 here. Listen, he says, basically, he says, when worry, doubt, and fear creep in, when you start getting worried, maybe you're worried for many reasons. Maybe you're worried because you're trying to get manifesting to work for you and it's taken too long. Okay. You don't see proof in the pudding. Okay. You want your dream house, you want your dream life, you want to make more money, but worry, doubt, and fear creep in because it's not happening. And it's not happening fast enough, and it's not happening on your timetable. Okay, guys? So this is what Wallace Wattles says. He says, when worry, doubt, and fear creep in, he says, fall back, listen, fall back on the contemplation of your vision and increase your faith, belief, and purpose. What does he mean by that? Fall back on your vision. He means when worry, doubt, and fear creep in, you think that things are not working out in your favor, you go back and you contemplate on what you want. Okay, you want your dream house? You fall back in your imagination, you already have your dream house. You understand what I'm saying? You already have your dream house. You see yourself living in your dream house. Okay, you get excited about it again. That's what he's saying. Is anytime worry, doubt, and fear creep in, you fall back on contemplation of your vision and increase your faith, belief, and purpose. And by all means, in times of doubt and indecision, cultivate gratitude. Now he brings in gratitude. Be thankful that you already have what you want. And this, I mean, this is actually what I do. We got one more page here. We got one more here, but this is what I actually do. Okay. Like for example, like Ang and I, we're going to get ready to buy a house in Bangkok, probably in the next month or so. Okay. So right now we're up in Surin, and you hold the vision. Basically, I hold the vision of where we're exactly going to Bangkok, the development we're buying, how much it is, how big the house is, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now I can go inside my imagination and see all this. Okay. Then I kind of develop an affirmation around it. Okay. My affirmation is this is, and it's simple. Okay. Listen, I say this affirmation when worry, doubt, and fear creep in. Okay. I say, we're going to buy a house before it's a grand, because we're going to buy it before it's a grand, because that way when her brother-in-law comes up here for a grand to visit, he has a truck and he's picking up all my stuff to drive back to the house. Okay. Saves time for everybody. Okay. He's already here. Okay. Another thing I do is when worry, doubt, and fear creep in, remember, like worry, doubt, you just start doubting the process. When fear creeps in, fear is crippling. Fear basically stops you in your track. Fear makes you want to give up. Okay. And when I feel like that from time to time, not all the time, but from time to time, when I feel like that, this dude, this is what I do. I put this book down for a second. I have this notebook right here. Okay. I have my gratitude pad. I write down 10 things, usually the same thing over and over and over and over. All I do is use this to get me out of that funk. That's all I do, guys. Okay. When I start thinking negative or whatever, I pull out my gratitude and I write down 10 things I'm grateful for. Okay. Another thing I do is it's kind of the same thing as a gratitude pad, but then I sit down and I write. And I'll just write the same thing over and over and over and over and over that pulls me out of that worry, doubt, and fear. Okay. Because as I'm writing, I'm in my imagination thinking about it. You understand? So usually what I do is like I'm not doing this giant morning routine in manifesting. What I do is I scatter it throughout the day. Okay. The reason why I'm scattering it is because when worry, doubt, and fear creeps in that it's not working, that's when I do the gratitude pad or my writing exercise, or I have affirmations around it, or I sit down and I do like a 2 or 3 minute meditation. Okay. That's when I oop, that's when I do all this stuff. It doesn't take a lot of time, but when you try to bundle a 2 hour morning routine together, then it seems like a lot. But when you're scattering it through the day, listen, when you scatter it, all you're trying to do is to keep yourself in a state of you have, in a state that be do have. That's all you're trying to do is keep yourself in that positive state all day long. That's all you're trying to do is because once you keep yourself in that state all day, that state compounds. It compounds daily. Your energy gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and it pulls to you as an energy. It's you're not physically seeing it, of course. It pulls to you quicker what you really want. Okay. So now let's finish this last page. Okay. I read that. Okay. Listen, he continues on with this. He says, a day or two spent in contemplating the vision of what you want and in earnest thanksgiving that you are getting it, gratitude again, you bring your mind into such close relationship with the infinite that you will make no mistake when you do act. Oh, let me reread that. So powerful. Okay. Are you listening, YouTube? Are you listening out there? We're on the meat and potatoes of this chapter, so you're jumping on perfect. Okay, listen. A day or two spent in contemplating the vision of what you want and in an earnest thanksgiving of you getting it, gratitude, will bring your mind into such close relationship with the infinite that you will make no mistake when you do act. There is a mind which knows all there is to know, and if you have deep gratitude, deep thanksgiving, you're thankful. Okay, you're thinking before you even get it. That's how I write my affirmations. That's how I write my gratitude statements. Is thank you, Father, that I have blah, 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 blah. Thank you, Father, that you gave me blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Blah, 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 blah. Like my mumbling. Listen, there is a mind which knows all there is to know, and if you have deep gratitude, you can come into close unity with this mind by faith, belief, and purpose to advance in life. Mistakes come from acting hastily or from acting in fear or doubt or in forgetfulness of the right motive, which is more life to all and less to none. Listen, isn't it so true? Mistakes come from acting hastily or from acting in fear and acting in worried out in fear. Okay. Worried out and fear creeps in. What do most of us do when we get worried out and fear creeps in? What do you really do when you're flipping scared? It's not working, you're done, you throw in a towel, you run back to your comfort zone. You know what I mean? That's what we really do. We run backwards, we run back to our comfort zone. Okay. As you go on in a certain way, opportunities will come to you increasing numbers. As you go on in a certain way, as your mind is right, opportunities will come to you in increasing numbers. You will need to be very steady in your faith, belief, and purpose, and to keep in close touch with the supreme power through reverent gratitude. What is it? What does he mean by reverent gratitude? You're always grateful. No matter what's coming in your life, you're grateful. You know what I mean? Do all that you can do in a perfect manner every day, but do it without haste, worry, or fear. Hmm. I'll read that one more time. The last, probably the last maybe page and a half is so powerful. I should read it a second time for you guys to hear this. Okay. When you guys really understand this material. Do all that you can do in a perfect manner every single day, but do it without haste, do it without worry, do it without fear. Go as fast as you can, but never hurry. Remember that in the moment you begin to hurry, you cease to be a creator and become a competitor. You drop back into the old plane again. What does he mean? You drop back to the old identity. You drop back to the old self. You drop back to your old habits that are holding you back. That's what he's talking about. Remember that in the moment you begin to hurry and cease to be a creator and become a competitor, you drop back to the old plane again. Whenever you find yourself hurrying, okay, listen. Whenever you find yourself in a hurry, stop, fix your attention on the mental image of the thing that you want, and begin to give thanks that you are getting it. This exercise of gratitude will never fail to strengthen your faith, strengthen your belief, and renew your purpose. And that's the ending of this chapter. But I'll reread the last paragraph here because it's strong. Listen, whenever you find yourself in a hurry, whenever you find yourself worry, doubt, and fear creeps in, whenever you find yourself that, hey, this stuff isn't working out, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, whatever that emotion is for you, whenever you find yourself in a hurry, whenever you find yourself like you're kind of thinking funky right now, you're basically thinking, you know what? I've been trying my hardest. I've done every single manifesting technique out there, and I'm still stuck. I have no clue what I'm doing. Okay. That's how most of us feel. We're doing the work. We're trying the hardest. Okay. But something's not working. Okay. Listen, Wallace Wattles says, stop. Fix your attention, fix your focus on the mental image of the thing that you want, your desire, your attention, and begin to give thanks that you're getting it. Gratitude. Thank you, Father, that I have my dream house. Thank you, Father, I already bought my dream house before it's a grand. Okay, that's what he's talking about. This exercise of gratitude will never fail to strengthen your faith, belief, and renew your purpose. Okay. What does it mean by renew your purpose? Meaning you're thinking doubt, you're thinking worry, doubt, and fear. Okay. Remember, Napoleon Hill said that when you have worry sibling is doubt. And when you have worry and doubt, their cousin is fear. You know what I mean? And fear is crippling, my friends. Why is fear crippling when we're dealing with success? Well, fear is crippling because it pretty much stops us in our tracks, doesn't it? It stops you. Fear stops you. Sometimes fear is things that we're just scared to do. Sometimes fear is just, dude, you're tired of trying everything and nothing works. That's fear too. You know, you're stuck in a rut. You've exhausted everything. You've tried everything. You've exhausted everything. You've done all these techniques, manifest in 24 hours, blah blah blah. The 333 technique, the 555 technique, the 777 technique. You've done all this stuff with no evidence that is nothing is flipping working. Okay, that's fear too. Fear is just exhaustion. But again, fear is crippling. Fear will stop you. Okay. Fear will take you back to your comfort zone. Where's your comfort zone again? Remember, your comfort zone, your dream life, whatever you want, is not in your comfort zone, my friend. Is not. Okay. Your dream vacation you want to take is not in your comfort zone. You're going to have to get uncomfortable being comfortable. I think most of us have heard that. Okay. Listen, some of you want money, some of you want to be a millionaire. But I can tell you through experience that you're going to be a millionaire. You're not going to be a millionaire in your comfort zone where you're at right now. It's not going to happen. Okay. You want to be a millionaire? How to kind of do it is you got to start acting like how you would act if you had $1,000,000. You got to start acting right now today as that most successful version of you. Okay. Then when worry, doubt, and fear creep in, when it takes you out of that state, okay, when you start looking for proof, oh, I don't see my Porsche outside today. You know what I mean? You understand? You step back, you kind of regroup a little bit. You get in your imagination. You can see yourself flipping, sitting inside your Porsche, driving it down the road. You can feel the steering wheel. You're grateful for it. Thank you, Father, that I have everything I want. Thank you, Father, I have my Porsche. Ooh, I can smell it right now. I can smell my flipping Porsche. You understand? You know, when you sit in your car, you either have that new car smell. When you buy a new car, you can smell it. You can smell that new leather. You understand? Even me talking like that, I can flip and smell it, and I'm not even sitting in my car. Okay. Okay. But that brings it alive. Okay. Even if you buy a new house, you buy anything, you ever like buy a new house, you're walking through a house, you and everything, you can smell just that new house smell. You can maybe it's the paint on the walls, maybe it's just the air is so fresh and clean. Okay, because no one's living there. You understand? You can smell like that's what you got to do when you go inside your imagination, my friends. Is you're making it so flipping real and vivid, like you're actually doing it. When you go inside your imagination, you're bringing in your five senses: see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Meaning, in your imagination, like I might pick up this pen in my imagination and write something. Okay, but I can feel the pen inside my imagination. In my imagination, my dream house. In my imagination, I might be talking to Ing inside my imagination, inside my dream house, having a conversation with somebody. Okay. That's how you bring this stuff to life. Okay. Listen, guys, we do this naturally, but listen, we do it naturally, but we do it naturally thinking negative, thinking, I hate my boss at work. And you go inside your imagination and you have these imaginary arguments with your boss. But even your imagination in real life, you're flipping angry as hell, and you're not even having a real argument. We do this stuff naturally, but we do it in the opposite way. We do it for the negative, not for the positive. We do it for things we don't want, not for things we do want. Okay. Okay. So I mean, it's the same thing. If you want your dream house, your dream car, you want money, you got to know exactly what you want. To make this stuff get to work and get stronger and stuff like that, you got to know exactly what you want. How big is your house? How big is your yard? How many rooms do you have? You got 2 stories or 3 stories, but sometimes you have a furnished basement. You can go down, you got the main floor and the second floor. You understand? You got to get so clear on what you want. The more clear you are, the easier it is inside your imagination. Okay. Same way when I was like telling you about a dream car, I could literally, when I'm sitting here on live streams, I'm not sitting in my car, I could literally smell my car. I can only smell what it smells like sitting in my car. I'm not in my car. Why? Because that's how our senses, when I think about it, you can smell it. Okay. Same way if you're baking a cake at home or something like that. Even if you're not baking right now, you can smell what a chocolate cake smells like. Maybe it makes you hungry. Okay. If you pretend in your imagination you're holding a rose, you lean down and smell it. You can smell what the rose smells like in your imagination. You understand. Okay. And this is what I do too. Like even in my dream house, if I like flowers, maybe I have flowers sitting on the table in my dream house. And in my imagination, like I'm walking through the kitchen, and that's where the table is in the kitchen. And I have flowers sitting on top of the table. I'm walking in the kitchen as I'm walking past the table because I'm walking to my espresso maker to make myself an espresso in the morning. When I'm walking past the flowers, I can smell the fragrance of the flowers walking past. Or maybe in my imagination, I stop and look at it, lean down and smell it, but I can really smell it. You understand? Because we're all programmed like that. We all know what certain things, how things feel. Okay. If I tell you, like, I would tell you in your imagination, pretend you're holding money and you're crimpling it, take it up and smell it. Money has that unique smell. You understand? Nothing else in the world smells exactly like money. Okay. That's what you got to do inside your imagination to bring your senses alive inside your imagination. You understand? Okay. Now, this all sounds like voodoo, la la, whatever, but we do this stuff naturally. We just don't, we're not aware of it. Okay. You understand? Like when we're arguing with somebody, we're thinking about something, we're in our imagination and we can see it. We either see it in pictures or we're acting it out in our imagination. Okay. All Wallace Wattles is saying in this whole entire book is know the laws of the universe and know how to work the laws of the universe in your favor. It's not about manipulating. You can't manipulate nobody. You can't manipulate the laws of the universe. You can't manipulate God. You can't manipulate source. You can't manipulate Mother Nature. Okay, we think we can, but that's why things are not working out for you. But the more you understand about the laws of the universe, you can work them in your favor because you know how they work. You understand, my friends? Okay. But how long have we been going today? We've been going about an hour already. Uh, but anyway, tribe, I might have to go. What time is it? It's about 12:30 in Thailand. So I know we have to go pick up some water. So I got to go with Ang and help her because we uh, we put it on the motorbike. So we're driving with the water on the motorbike. So we got to go do that. Take a little break here and stuff like that. Then I'll come back. I'll probably go live again later on today sometime and and uh and see what we're going to talk about. I got a couple things I got to finish up today before after I get back. Um uh as I was finishing a blog, I got to finish a video for Saturday. So I gotta finish that up. Also, check out one of the videos I did that was kind of cool. It's on YouTube. Check it out. It's called "Dude, Where's My SP?" Check that out. It's a fun video. It's not a serious video. You know, I give some feedback in there. Give some value in there as well, advice in there as well. But it's more kind of a more of a really laid back, kind of a humor, funny video. But it's called "Dude, Where's My SP?" But that's on YouTube. So if you look that up, why it's only 8 minutes long, so it's not a super long video. It's not on TikTok because I think it's too long for TikTok. It's not a short; it's more of a long form. But check that out. That's a fun little video I did. I did like little skits in there, all relating to relationships and SP and stuff like that. Um, but anyway, check that out. Let me know what you think. Uh, so so that's some of the things I was kind of working on today. But anyway, tribe. Anyway, TikTok. Thanks for all the comments. Yeah, I love the comments. Love people jumping on stuff like that. Only thing right now, just don't have time to kind of engage with the comments, just because we did the book review, and then I got to run just because we got to go shopping in a little bit. And but anyway, remember, I love you guys. Love you, YouTube. Love you, TikTok. Remember, might go live again sometime today. If not, I'll see you tomorrow around the same time, maybe earlier. We'll see what's going on each day in the morning. Sometimes I jump on pretty early, but we'll see. But anyway, remember, I love you guys. Peace out. Peace out. See you tomorrow. And I'll shut this down one at a time. Okay, YouTube. I'm going to see you later.